Well, hello everyone, George your Rambling Man here. Hope everybody's doing well on this Super Bowl weekend. This is the day before the Super Bowl, Saturday, February the 2nd, I think it is the date. But boy, the weather's just turned beautiful here, and everybody in Atlanta was all nervous about bad weather during Super Bowl week, and it's been cold most of the week, but it has really warmed up here late. It's a beautiful day today, nothing but bright blue skies and warm temperatures, and just great to be out riding. And you might say, George your Rambling Man, that does not appear to be your normal ride. Your Suzuki Boulevard, and you are correct in your observation. This is not my motorcycle. This is a 2018 Harley-Davidson Road Glide. And what in the world am I doing on this bike? Well, a couple things. You know, I rented a bike last year for the Hootenanny for a whole week, and I rented a bike a couple of times out in Arizona when I was on business at Eagle Rider. And like most people these days, the airlines and car rental companies and hotel chains, Eagle Rider kind of has a frequent rider club, and you get points, and they sent me an email this past week and said, hey, you've qualified for some free credits. And they also sent me another email, and they said they had a special deal going where any Harley-Davidson you wanted to rent was only $99 a day. So I used that deal plus all these credits that I've got, and I rented this motorcycle for the day, just today, for like less than $50. You know, just all the junk fees and the insurance is really what drove it up. But you know me. I mean, I like to ride different types of motorcycles, and I've ridden the Road Glide before on a demo day, and I really wanted to ride the Street Glide, to be honest with you. But I got to the dealership this morning and they didn't have one. The only thing they had was this Road Glide. I got there a little bit late, and it was you know, he said they'd been pretty busy this morning. So anyway, I said, yeah, this looks like a nice bike. I've ridden it, and I liked it. And am I considering it for purchase? Probably not. You know, never say never, but you know, I don't tend to like these bigger bikes with the fairings. I like a little smaller with just the windshield. I mean, I've said that before, but you know, like I say never. So I took this one out when I left this morning. It was really cold, but it's warmed up very nicely now, and I've been pretty much out riding all day on it. I've got to have it back to the Eagle Rider place in Marietta. It's right next to the Harley-Davidson dealer there in Marietta, Hellbender Harley-Davidson. Used to be called Earl Smalls Harley-Davidson, but Earl passed away a few years ago in a motorcycle, not a motorcycle accident, but a helicopter accident. He was a pilot, and he decided he wanted to buy a helicopter. He bought a helicopter, and he crashed it into the wall of a canyon 7 or 8 years ago. Just to let you know where I'm at, I'm on Georgia Highway 140 between Adairsville and Canton. It's kind of a twisty road, as you can see, and I really did want to kind of get this bike out on some roads like this to see how it handled. You know, the demo ride that I took was just so short in city streets, and really couldn't tell much. As you can see, this is a nice twisty road, and you know, I'm going about 55 miles an hour, but it's just leaning back and forth into these curves just really nicely. Not scraping any floorboards, very easy to control. I mean, you know, you're on a big bike, and I'm certainly not going to overdo it, but it's very comfortable and very nice through these curves. this road goes right along a creek and very scenic. One of my go-to roads that I really love to ride. So let me give you the impressions of the bike after being on it most of today. It's ergonomics. It's very comfortable. The seat's very well padded. Got a little bit of lumbar support to it. I like the seat. Handlebars have my shoulders and hands in a good position. The handlebars kind of come up a little bit more than the Street Glide or the Road King or my Boulevard. It's kind of like a little mini ape, similar to the Heritage, but just very, very nice riding position. Big floorboards, comfortable seat, nice handlebars. Just makes for I mean, this is a touring bike, and I can see being on this thing all day, out on an interstate or roads like this, and being very comfortable. This is the 2018 version, so it has the Milwaukee 107 cubic inch engine, not the 114. The new specials in 2019, the Street Glide specials and Road Glide specials, are in the 114. This is the 107, but this is plenty of power. I mean, I've spoken about the 107 when I rode the Road King and the Heritage, and this bike is bigger than both, and it's still no problem with the power. It's very smooth, shifts through the gears very easily. I mean, you can be in top gear, and this has got 6 gears, and it just gets up and goes. So power is not a problem with this motorcycle. It's got the big shark nose fairing rather than the bat wing that most of the Harleys have. Either you hate it or you like it, and I'm kind of neutral on it. Don't really love it, don't really hate it. It is way out in front of you. I mean, this maybe this bike is would be suitable to really big guys. I'm not really big, not really small, but the fairing sits way out in front of you here. It's got all the bells and whistles with the navigation and the radio and cruise control and ABS, and gauge cluster's fairly nice. Analog speedometer and tach and fuel gauge and voltmeter. The gauges are easy to read. The little LCD portion of the speedometer has the same kind of information that I had on the Heritage I rode out in Arizona. It's got the 2 trip meters and remaining miles to empty for the fuel, along with your odometer and a few other little goodies there. It's got a gear position indicator that's on all the time as well. The number, you probably really can't see it. It's real small there. I'm in 5th gear here on this little 2-lane road. And you can read it. It's a little hard for me. I have to kind of look at it a little closer, but my eyesight's not the best. The suspension seems to be a little rough. I mean, the Heritage and the Road King seem to soak up the bumps just a little bit better than this thing. I mean, I've hit a few bumps and been a little bit bone jarring a couple of times, and I'm sure there's an adjustable shock back there, and you can adjust this suspension, and I have no idea how this thing is adjusted, but I don't know. I'd like to, if I was really in the market for a bike like this, I think I'd have to compare it to like the Honda Goldwing and the Indians to see if those are any smoother suspension wise. This one seems to be a little lacking in that category. But it's got a vent up here on top of the fairing. It's got side vents here down, and I've got them closed off now, but you can see them on either side of the speedometer and tach. So you can flow a good bit of air through this fairing if you're in the warmer part of the year. And it's cold now, so I've got them all shut off. The windscreen's fairly nice. I mean, I could see right over it. If I was going to buy this bike, I might replace it with a little taller windscreen. The fairing does a good job of blocking all the air on my body. And I really don't feel too much air to my helmet either. But I may swap it out for a little higher windscreen. I don't know. The stock pipes sound pretty good, but I'm sure if I bought this bike, I'd probably put at least a stage 1 on it and some Screaming Eagles or Vance and Hines pipes just to make it sound a little bit better. This is the vivid black color. I like the vivid black color. I've had several different colors of motorcycles over my life, but I have a black one now. I like this black color. I think it looks good with all the chrome. This one's not blacked out like the newer models, and I like all the chrome on it. I think it it looks really good. I just always like the black. This has got the hard saddlebags that lock very easily. This has got the keyless ignition and security and all those kind of things. So you know, this has got all the latest and greatest electronics and everything you'd want on a motorcycle for sure. And you know, I'm surprised at how well it handles. You know, I've said I really love the way the Heritage handles. It's so lightweight and low center of gravity. I mean, I love the way it handles, but you know, this big old Road Glide doesn't handle too bad either. I mean, you know, like I say, you know you're on a big motorcycle, and if you're going very slow, you can feel there's some weight to it. But you know, you get out going this fast, and you know you can't tell a thing, and it just rides, you know, very, very smoothly. So that's about all the comments I have on this Harley-Davidson Road Glide. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of reviews out on YouTube, a lot more detail than this, and got a lot more specs and everything else on it as far as horsepower and torque and all that. I don't really know anything about that, and I really wasn't expecting to do this until I got these emails and said, oh, what the heck, I'm just going to use my credits and rent this for a day. I kind of halfway thought about maybe renting it for the whole weekend, but you know, I got to be back at work on Monday, and the forecast is maybe for a little rain to be happening. So I said, I'll just do the one-day thing. I'll have plenty of time to get out and ride it as I roll in here to Waleska, Georgia, home of Reinhardt University right there, a little college town. I'm going to be in Canton in a little bit, then I'll hit Interstate 575 back down to Marietta, and turn this thing in. It's about 3 o'clock, and I have to have it back by 5. All right, taking a little rest break here in Waleska. Getting a little shot of the beautiful 2018 Road Glide. You know, I like the vivid black colors. I know there's lots of beautiful motorcycle colors out there, but I really like the vivid black.